Welcome to the Bulldog Blitz. I'm Marco Tomic. One of the many bright spots this season for Butler men's basketball team has been the play of freshman guard Kellen Dunham. Dunham has been named the Atlantic 10 Rookie of the Week several times so far and has been a key factor in the Dogs' national ranking. Thanks for stopping in, Kellen. What has been the biggest change from high school basketball to college basketball?
I think the biggest change would definitely be just everyone's so much stronger, so much faster, so much smarter. Each possession you got to try to win through it by knowing those things and just being aware of that everyone's so much better.
Oh man, that's awesome. Can you elaborate a little bit on the caliber difference from play from college to possibly your travel teams and high school play?
Yeah, in high school there's a lot more focus on just like organization of it. There's a lot more scheming, scouting, and stuff like that. As far as AAU, it's just you're kind of playing in front of college coaches and trying to impress them. And then in college, it's a whole different game. It seems like as far as just taking every little thing in the game of basketball so importantly and just trying to execute every time.
Did you feel any pressure coming out of high school to make an immediate impact, being Butler's top-ranked recruit last year?
Coach Stevens talked to me a little bit about contributing before the season started, and I just tried to improve as much as I could and tried to contribute as much as I can this year so far, but I didn't feel any expectation. I just wanted it for myself and the team.
Do you think that what is the main thing that you've improved on this year?
I think a lot of it comes with strength. I think I got a lot stronger with Coach Peel, and those guys helped me out getting in the weight room and being maybe a little bit more explosive and more a little bit stronger to maintain myself in the game.
You committed to Butler pretty early in most people's eyes during your sophomore year. How did you know at that time that Butler is the right place for you?
I talked to my parents a lot about it, and they love this place, and I've been around here all my life, basically going to Butler games. So it was kind of my dream to come here, and I just felt like my style of play fit perfectly with Butler. And then I love the small campus feel, and it reminds me a lot of home, so I chose this place.
Been making historic Hinkle Fieldhouse quite a bit your own. Word around campuses that you like to go in there quite late at night, get some shots up before games and stuff like that. Now, is there any special meaning to the number that you like to wear during games, number 24? I know in high school for the Arabians you wore the number 20, but when you came to campus, former Butler basketball player Krishawn Hopkins had that number. So why did you choose number 24?
I chose 24 because, first off, my buddy Devontae, they asked him first, and he chose number 2, and so that was my second option. And then, so my third option was 24, and they happened to have that one available, and I chose that. And I'd like to think I chose 24 because Kobe Bryant's my favorite basketball player.
Great guy to idolize. Now, going back to your play with the Arabians, is there any one moment that you can look back on that had to be your favorite?
In high school?
Yes.
In high school, just being with my teammates every day in practice, us getting better. I was just best friends with all those guys I grew up with and graduated with. And just, I wouldn't say there's one specific one, but just remembering them and keeping in touch with them is a great memory to have.
Now, of your prolific high school career, is there one moment that you wish you could have back, or that moment that you never got to reach?
Yeah, my senior year we advanced the regionals here and actually played against Terre Haute North, and we didn't play very well, didn't shoot the ball very well, and I wish I could have that game back as far as like preparation, my mindset coming into that game, being able to win that first one, then win one later on in the afternoon.
Do you have a particular teammate or coach that you look up to as kind of a big brother role that helped you on your way here as being a freshman and kind of learning the ropes?
Yeah, I think some of the seniors helped me out a lot. Just being able to be around Rodney and watching Rodney in practice has helped me a lot, improve my game and things I need to work on. And then secondly, I asked Andrew Smith a lot of questions as far as me being confused on some of our defensive principles and stuff like that. Since he's been around here, he's on a Final Four team. He helps me out a lot with things that we need to prepare for.
Seems like you like to pick up things pretty quickly. You have been named to Atlantic 10 Rookie of the Week 4 times. You're also named the preseason team for the rookies. Is there any accomplishment in basketball out of your entire career playing that is your favorite?
I would say probably winning championships in high school was one of my favorite things. Sectional championship, it was our first 4A sectional championship ever, and that was pretty fun to win my junior year. And then we won 3 straight county championships. in my sophomore through senior year of high school, so that was always a fun thing.
Now, with Rodney being back into the lineup, you kind of went back to your coming off the bench role, whereas when he was out, you were filling his spot kind of and were in the starting rotation. How does it feel to be back into like coming off the bench?
It's fine. It's just I'm trying to contribute as much as I can. I just got to stay prepared instead of being ready at the very beginning of the game, just keeping my mindset that I'm going to come in and play well just coming off the bench.
Which do you find more comfortable, coming off the bench, or do you like to start the game and get going right away with the rest of the players on the court?
I'm starting to like coming off the bench a little bit more since I've just been used to it recently, but starting has never been a bad thing I mean, I started in high school a lot, so either way, it's fine with me.
Absolutely. Now, most people kind of see you as an outside threat. You hit a lot of threes, but recently in your game against Rhode Island, you were able to throw one down like your buddy Devontae. How did that make you feel?
It was a pretty good one, but I have to admit Devontae's was a little bit more thunderous than mine. So it was cool to get my first dunk. I've never had one in organized basketball, so it was fun to be able to do that for my team.
Do you think we can see a little bit more of that this season?
I'm hoping maybe if the ball rolls off the rim like it did again, I might have another chance.
Now, out of your 4 losses, all of them have been away from Hinkle Fieldhouse, and one of them has been on a neutral court. Why do you think that you play so much better at home, or you've gotten those losses on the road?
I think the losses on the road come from just us having like a mindset that we were kind of tired from other games and worried about just things that we couldn't control, and we came in with kind of an unaggressive mindset, and teams jumped on us early, and we need to just be ready to play each and every game.
A lot of people like to call the LaSalle game kind of a trap game. What was your mindset going into that?
We were going to try to execute our game plan, what Coach Stevens was talking about all week, but we needed to, like I said, come in with more aggressiveness, and I feel like we came into that game a little bit sluggish from the big night that we had before.
Now, what has been your favorite moment here on Butler's campus, whether it be basketball or just hanging out with some of your friends?
Some of my favorite moments so far have just been those last-second shots, and then just all the wins that we've had so far have just been incredible, and like my growth and learning as a player.
What is your outlook going into the rest of the season with the A10 tournament coming up later in March, and also maybe hopes of even playing in the March Madness?
Since we've beaten a few really high-level teams, I think me and my teammates both believe that we can give everybody a chance to run for their money in the NCAA tournament, maybe win that, and then definitely try to get the A10 tournament. We're going to try to take every team very seriously and compete with every team. So.
Now, you're one game back from the A10 championship of the regular season behind the leaders of Virginia Commonwealth. Can you speak on that a little bit? Do you think you're going to be able to catch them?
I think so. They're a very good team, and they apply a lot of pressure in the game. And I think if we get a good week of preparation, listen to Coach Stevens' ideas for that game and execute them, I think we can get a win against them. But they are definitely a team that we are worried about.
Now, how is Coach Steven during practice? During games, he usually seems calm, cool, and collected, unless maybe one of the refs make the wrong call. He likes to take off his jacket. But how is he in practice?
He's a great guy, a great people's person. He's easily approachable. In practice, he's so intelligent. He's always looking for things that we need to improve on, and he's very positive in going about that.
Do you have a favorite Brad Stevens moment or saying that really struck you this year? Anything that made you laugh?
Yeah, after my game that I just recently got a dunk in, he was teasing everybody that about miracles of basketball and threw in my dunk. So I thought that was pretty funny, and my teammates got a kick out of it.
I have to ask you, what does the Butler way mean to you?
The Butler way came from when I was just watching the Final Fours as a recruit. Just all those guys, what they did for this campus, and how they went about winning basketball games and the preparation they put into it, all ties into the Butler way, I think.
What has been the toughest team that you've played this season?
Ooh, the toughest team. We've had a lot of close ones, obviously, but I can't really think of the toughest team. just off the top of my head, there's been a lot of teams. IU was very good, Gonzaga, and then pretty much every A10 team we've played has been tough. So I can't really choose.
Do you think that the stepping into the A10 is a little bit more difficult for you? Because when you signed as a recruit, Butler was still in the Horizon League, and you weren't really expected to play against A10 teams. What do you think when you first came here, thinking about playing maybe in people like to think a tougher conference?
Coach Stevens was always talking about how great the Horizon League was anyways, and it is a very good conference, but we're just viewing the A10 as a kind of a new challenge, and we're going to try to approach every game like it is a new challenge and win it.
Now, how does it feel to play in historic Hinkle Fieldhouse? I know you're quite a basketball fan and a historian.
Yeah, it's unbelievable environment. Our fans, I mean, you can't get much better than the fans that we have, and the student crowd is just unbelievable. They come to every game with a lot of energy. And it's just really cool to picture. I mean, when I was younger, I was up in the stands watching, so it's like a dream of mine to play on Hinkle's floor.
Kellen, thank you for joining me, and good luck with the rest of the season. For the Bulldog Blitz, I'm Marco Tomich. Bethany Words is talking to Butler distance runner Lauren McCullough on segment 2 of the Blitz, coming up next. Go Dogs!
Welcome back to the Bulldog Blitz. I'm Bethany Werge. Butler has a tradition of student athletes who excel in distance running. One of the Bulldogs responsible for that tradition is with me today, senior Lauren McCullough. Thanks for coming.
No problem.
Let's start from the beginning. So what was it like being born and raised in Australia?
Pretty much any traditional American family would be the same as an Australian family. I was growing up into a loving family. I have one older sister, and I have my mum and dad, and they nurtured me and they gave me opportunities, and I thank them every day because I wouldn't be here if I didn't have them.
So how did you get involved in running?
Well, my mum was a marathoner. She represented Australia a few times, but she never got to the point where she could represent Australia in the Olympics, and my dad took up running later in his life, and so I just remember when I was younger going down to the track and watching my dad race and my mum race, and when I was old enough to be able to run on my own, they enrolled me in this sport called running, and it's an organisation called Little Athletics. So at age 7 I started running with my sister.
Oh.
At first I did dancing, but it was a failure. My mum, instead of buying me a leotard, made me wear a swimsuit, and instead of just a black swimsuit, it was patterns, squiggles, and we came halfway through the year of a dance company, so me and my sister were far behind. My sister left after the second week, and I just tried really hard to stay in there as long as possible. So I lasted about 6 weeks before I decided that I did not like it and I wanted to do running. So that's when I started doing it at age 7, and I haven't stopped.
Wow. Yeah, if it makes you feel better, I lasted a day. So what made you decide on Butler? I mean, we're thousands of miles away. How does Butler even come up? Like, people in the States don't even know about this school. Like,
well, at first they did not know about this school when they contacted me, but talking to Coach Darren Gorson, he was the assistant coach at Butler. So one day he emailed the group that I was with, who I run for. They contacted the president, and they asked, Darren asked for my details. So the president asked my family first if it was all right to give out the details. So I said yes. So Darren emailed me and just started talking about how wonderful a place Butler is and how much distance running has been a big part of this school, and how there have been a lot of international students. So I did my research, and I found out there was an Australian lady here called Victoria Mitchell, and she actually won NCAA for women's steeplechase 3000, and she went on to represent Australia in the Olympics and World Cross and stuff like that. So with her being here, that gave me more interest to actually go to this school because there's actually been people that have ran for Butler and succeeded in going beyond and beyond and representing their country, and that's what I really wanted to do. So I thought, yeah.
Perfect. So Darren basically brought you in to Butler. How was it? I know he left to coach at Texas, or not Texas. Okay,
Lamar
in Texas.
University in
Okay.
Texas.
So was that really tough for you to see him go, or are you still? I mean,
it was hard saying goodbye because he's been my support network since I was a freshman. He's always there if I needed a shoulder to cry on or needing counseling advice. But I'm really happy that he went because he needed to move on and actually be in charge of his own team. So I'm excited and I'm still interested. I follow Lamar and see how he's going, and his wife updates me on how the team's going. So I'm glad he's moved on because I can see him making big strides in Lamar, and he's a friend as well. So I'm happy for him, but it was sad for him to go.
Yeah. So you obviously don't get to go home much. I mean, how hard is that? Is that just?
I don't think it's hard for me because I'm an independent person. So I kind of like the distance apart. My parents are always going to be a phone call away. So if I ever need counseling advice or I'm in trouble, I have great friends here that can always help me out and listen to me nag and whinge about all my problems, which is a lot. But no, at first it was hard when I'm injured and I'm down in the dumps. All I want to do is be back in Australia. But most of the time when I'm here, I enjoy being here, and it's going to be really sad once I graduate and go back to Australia to live with my parents.
Oh, but your sister came right over winter break, and you traveled. What did you do? You traveled the country.
Yeah. So for my winter break, it's her summer break because we're in opposite seasons. So she, for 4 weeks, so I had 4 weeks off for winter. So for 4 weeks, me and her traveled around America. So we started on the West Coast and we ended on the East Coast in New York. So it was a fun experience showing her around because she's never been to the States.
Yeah.
So she wanted to try all the cuisine in America, so like the fried chicken, the biscuits, the McDonald's. So, and I was excited to show her around some of the restaurants that I've been to and tell her all the things I know about America. So I had fun being kind of I kind of felt like I was a native.
Yeah.
And she was a foreign because I knew everything and I knew how to speak the lingo. Yeah. Because I kind of sound American now, but it was fun.
Awesome. So going back to the injuries, I know your freshman year you were newcomer of the year, right, for Horizon League.
Yep.
You were individual champion for Horizon League cross country, and then you had some accolades for track, and then you got injured. What happened, and how did you deal with that, the adversity of that?
Yeah. So I had a really good freshman year. I PR'd in the 5K by 30 seconds. So that was like a big jump just from one waist. And so I had a really good consecutive year, running well, doing PRs and feeling good about myself. But there was one thing missing in my freshman year, and that is I didn't make nationals. So during my summer break, I wanted to run a lot, run hard, to be a better athlete. So when I come cross time, I can make nationals as an individual or be as a team. So with that thought in mind, I crushed myself and I got injured. I ran through my injury because I wanted to be the best, so I ignored it, the signs. So I came back here injured, and then I was able to run because I was injury free, but because I moved too quickly, I didn't ease the progression, I got injured again. But it was too late into the season to be redshirted, so I was made to run through the injuries, and it became more of a mental problem because I'm not used to running injured, or I'm not used to running unfit. So I struggled with that a lot. I had a lot of mental breakdowns in a race. Even before a race, I was so nervous because I was not fully prepared. So with that happening my sophomore and junior year, it's made me a stronger athlete mentally because I've been through a lot of adversity, and now to overcome it, and now to be back running to whereabouts I wanted to be freshman year. So hopefully good things will come during outdoors.
What do you think is your biggest piece of advice they would offer to an athlete who is thinking they might be injured? I mean,
I don't want to push myself, like I'll cross train, but yeah, just I think my advice is listening. But I know what a niggle is, which is knowing what a pain, that's a foreign word, but knowing what pain is and what an injury is, because after a workout you can feel a little sore, but that's fine, you can run through that. But if you have something that is making you run funny or compensating, or it's just aching all the time, then that's a problem and you need to sort it out.
Yeah. How has the training staff here and at St. Vincent's helped you with that?
Well, freshman year I had, they did all these testings on me, and they showed that I was weak in a lot of areas, which is like, I scored a lot of zeros in a lot of
Which
my
is crazy
testing.
because you did so well your freshman year. I mean,
so yeah, I have really weak hips and I have bad posture. So to do all, and they checked out my running style. So they told me that I was a neutral footer. So it was interesting to know like all the weaknesses that I have in my body and what my strengths are. So it gave me things to what I needed to work on and what I don't need to work on. So that was good. And having the athletic trainers here on campus, so if I need to have a recovery like ice bath or contrast bath or just have my hips aligned, they're always there to help me out. And I feel like I have a good relationship with a lot of the those athletic trainers, because I know their names and I talk to them, and they're really nice people, and they've helped me through a lot of injuries.
Yeah. So now that you're feeling better, let's talk about this season. So what are you hoping for? I mean, you're coming off of an Atlantic 10 cross-country championship as a team, nationals as a team. I mean, what are you hoping for in terms of like personal times and goals and stuff like that for track?
Well, I raced last week at Mayo, and I was really happy. I did 16:40, so it's 15 seconds away from my
16:40 in what event?
5K.
Cool.
So this season, I did not think I was even going to be close to that time. It's really hard to set goals now because I'm really far behind of what I really wanted to be. But as an individual, I have a strong chance of winning the A10 conference in the 5K. And
cool.
So I'm excited about it. I'm ranked top 1 now, but it just really matters how the race goes. And I'm excited too because I have the 5 and the 3K double. So I should hopefully medal in the 3K as well if everything goes according to plan. So indoors has been kind of a stepping stone to prepare myself for outdoor, because outdoor is predominantly my season. So I will be concentrating on 10s and 5Ks. Yeah. So I need to practice running for a long time.
A very
long time. 25 laps. It's hard, or 12 and a half laps for 5K. So my goal is to PR in outdoor season, hopefully make the regional meet. I've made the regional meet twice in my freshman and sophomore year. I didn't make it in my junior year because I had 2 stress fractures, so I was out for the whole season. So I'm hopefully this season I'll make regionals again, and if things happen, I might make nationals, but it's a very slim chance. But you always should have that kind of goal in mind, just in case.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for outdoor, and hopefully no injuries will come.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're not taking 5th year, right?
I've done with all my eligibility,
cool.
and I'm graduating in May.
Awesome. Well, we'll miss you here.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming, though. I'm Bethany Werge for the Bulldog Blitz. Coming up next, Marissa Johnson and Matt Rhinesmith will anchor our final segment featuring stories about Butler sports.
Record-setting attendance numbers, a noisy and enthusiastic dog pound, and a Butler sophomore who proves you don't need a scholarship to be a starter on a nationally ranked basketball team.
I'm Matt Rhinesmith, and we'll have all those stories and more on this week's Bulldog Blitz.
And I'm Marissa Johnson. Game attendance at Hinkle Fieldhouse for men's basketball is going up as fast as the team's rankings in the national polls. This week, I went over to Hinkle to see how the athletic department is handling all of these new fans. Butler men's basketball tickets are starting to become a hard thing to find. Last Saturday for the game against Rhode Island, students started lining up hours before tip-off, but they weren't the only ones. Fans packed themselves into the small ticket office to escape the chill outside. The game was sold out, but that didn't stop them from wanting to be the first in line. The game was the third consecutive Saturday contest that had standing room only. The manager of fan development and tickets, Matt Harris, says it has become more common due to big profile wins early in the season.
Well, when we've been successful during the regular season, it's always helped increase ticket sales. But part of it this year is that the teams we beat early on were very high-profile teams, being Indiana and Gonzaga.
Earl Stutzman is a 20-year season ticket holder. He has noticed the increase and credits the new, tougher A-10 conference.
We have good teams coming in here, and it's just caught on. It's just caught on right now. So it's becoming a hard ticket to get.
A lot more people are becoming like Stutzman and guaranteeing their seats. Harris says not only have single-game tickets increased, but so have season ticket numbers.
The people that have been long-time Butler fans are going more and more to season tickets, which is great. I mean, we've increased season ticket sales for 8 consecutive years now.
Harris says the games against St. Louis and Xavier are already sold out, but there are still tickets available for the games against Charlotte and Duquesne later this month. For the Bulldog Blitz, I'm Marissa Johnson.
The student section known as the Dog Pound makes much of the noise at home contests. The Bulldog Blitz caught up with 2 of the Dog Pound's officers to talk about what makes the organization unique.
If you watch the Gonzaga game and stuff like that, we're here, we're loud, it's a whole different atmosphere when we're not. And, really, obviously, I think it helps the team a lot. Having a great home court here, I think it's just been awesome. The biggest tradition is the Dog Pound free throw chant. See, one guy does Dog Pound and everyone does the hoop, puts their arms up and down. That's probably the biggest one we have. And another big tradition is every game, Blue runs across the court, and one of the leaders of the Dog Pound gives him the phone, so that's been a really cool thing.
And this lower level seating, it's great, because I love having a student section right there on the floor. So we always encourage people to dress up crazy. I've been really pleased this year, especially with a lot of the outfits that we've seen. You know, I've been a pretty big fan of the Spider-Man who have been rocking around here. I mean, honestly, I don't think anybody's going to be able to top my short shorts and bare chest.
Sophomore guard Alex Barlow has moved from the bench as a walk-on freshman last season to a sophomore starter and leader on the court this season. JoJo Genter reports on Barlow's amazing ascent from the end of the bench to the starting 5.
It would be difficult enough to walk on the Butler men's basketball team. More the less, it would be even tougher to walk on and become a regular starter. Sophomore guard Alex Barlow has moved from the bench as a walk-on freshman to a sophomore starter and leader on the court. And nobody seems to be asking, who is number 3 anymore?
Just to get the chance to walk on here, it was a great opportunity and something I couldn't pass up. Being around a great group of guys, I feel rewarded being around them. That's one of the great things about a school like Butler is we're close. We're like a family. So, we all pull for each other and we all want each other to have success. Whether it's coming off the bench and playing a few minutes or whether it's starting, I feel like everybody makes an equal contribution.
Playing with a kid that hasn't played last year to come in our starting lineup, starting for a guy who didn't really play much, to a walk-on, now he's on scholarship. It's a big inspiration. So it's how much drive he has and how much he really wants to play and how much his work ethic is.
There are a lot of things we still need to work on. We've had a little bit of ups and downs recently, but we'll fight through it and get better.
I think the biggest thing he can provide is the leadership. He's wanting to be a coach, and I think he's going to be a very good coach down the road. And as a senior, which doesn't seem too far off, he's going to need to show those leadership skills that will help him down the road for when he's coaching his own high school or college team.
Although there have been many bright spots for the men's team this season, the players, the coaches, and the staff rallied to comfort one of their own recently who suffered a terrible personal loss. The team got the bad news before their recent game against Rhode Island. I covered that game, and here's my report. The Butler men's basketball team found little comfort in Saturday's 75-68 win over Rhode Island. The team learned that junior forward Eric Fromm's father passed away Saturday morning.
It's something that was definitely on my mind when we heard about it at pregame meal. Just feel for Fromm and his family, and you know, I think all of us have texted him back and forth and let him know how we feel about it. And, you know, we just want to go out there and perform well and win this game for them as well.
That's just what the Bulldogs did. Behind Rodney Clark's 23 points and Roosevelt Jones's 18, the Bulldogs knocked off a pesky Rhode Island team. Kyle Marshall was a human highlight reel, finishing with 13 points and several spectacular dunks. It was a memorable day for senior Andrew Smith as well. Smith became the 34th player in Butler history to score 1,000 career points. Smith is also the only player currently in college basketball to play in 2 Final Fours. Kellen Dunham played 26 minutes but only scored 4 points. Clark had some advice for him after the game.
Just keep shooting it. You know, he's an unbelievable shooter, and he works really well off the ball, and you know, he does a lot of things for us. He's smart defensively too. He helps us out on the other side of the floor.
Butler is now 5-2 in Atlantic 10 play, 18-4 overall. Coach Brad Stevens was happy with the win in a tough situation on Saturday.
It's a good basketball team and a very hard out, as you can see. They haven't played a game in league that has been decided by more than 8 points. I think the most proud I am is that these guys care about each other.
For the Bulldog Blitz, I'm Matt Rhinesmith.
The Butler Bubble is home to one of the youngest sports teams on campus. With 6 sophomores and 2 freshmen on the roster, some might call this a reloading year for the Butler men's tennis team. 2 sophomores at #1 doubles lead the Dogs, with Fishers, Indiana native Austin Woldmo and Ohio native Billy Weldon. The team has a tough schedule and is learning a lot from first-year head coach and Butler alum Parker Ross. The team extended its win streak to 3 matches with a win over ASA Junior College out of New York last weekend.
That's it for this week's edition of the Bulldog Blitz. I'm Matt Rhinesmith.
And I'm Marissa Johnson. Have a good week, Bulldog fans.